quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Huh?
There. I think. Oop. Okay.
Do I have an alcohol pad in my thing, my bag?
Maybe. I don't know.
See there.
Okay, staying here.
You know what on there yet?
What?
Is anybody in there?
Nope, not yet. I don't think. Oh, 3 people.
Oh Jesus! When I put my finger down, it starts bleeding like instantly, like even more. What?
Nothing.
Am I allowed to show blood on
I don't
YouTube?
know.
Because will I get demonetized because I have a cut finger? It's too graphic.
I don't know.
Who's on?
There's 70 people.
How many?
70.
70? Sorry guys,
That was me, sorry.
Went to get something out of my bag before this whole thing started, and I diced my hand open. But I'm committed to the cause. That causes information gains. Selena's gonna love this. She loves Band-Aids.
Does she always want a Band-Aid for things that like just hurt? That's what Finn does.
Oh, she just wants Band-Aids. She just wants Band-Aids.
Yep.
And she'll pick a scab just so she put another Band-Aid on. You guys, any questions, guys? Give me a sec while I pull a little ER on myself. Gotta make these Band-Aids look cool.
Daily blood sacrifice to the iron gods, I see.
That's what I'm saying, right? That's exactly what I'm saying.
You guys can ask questions now.
Oh yeah, man, don't worry, guys. I can multitask. All right, see, on this one bleeds. Doesn't that make you mad? Does anyone else get annoyed when they put a Band-Aid on and it doesn't stay flush and this one little part gets crinkled? Because that one part is what makes the entire Band-Aid come off. Maybe iron this thing out. Ladies and gents, what are the questions?
You don't have one yet.
None yet?
No.
It's like, watch me bleed. I see how it is, guys.
Good morning.
Entertaining enough.
It's afternoon.
It's afternoon for us. One more.
Favorite pull down to start off a supinated or pronated grip?
I love supinated.
Why?
Love doing supinated because I find that you feel it more in the stretch. And so I've done this before. Do this, guys. If you can, raise your hands up like this, right? And here's our pronated, right? And then we're gonna basically supinate, right? Supination is gonna cause external rotation too. So going supinated isn't necessarily just this part of your hand. Supination comes from the bicep, supinating or flipping the palm over. External rotation comes from the shoulder, right? So the lats, or teres major minor, are involved with that. So when I do this, supinate and externally rotate, you see how this tension starts to pull in my lats. So when I do a pull up or a pull down, right away, even from a hang, my lats are engaged from here, whereas here they're not as, I mean, they are engaged because you're engaged from holding yourself in that position. But when I go this way, it's very supinated. There's more engagement for me at the bottom. There's a massive stretch here. And then pulling all the way up. Best
routine for being stuck at home? Like with no equipment, I'm assuming?
No, yeah, I mean, because you might be at home. This is a home gym, letting you guys know. So if you're stuck at a gym like this, you got all the routines in the world.
What are some of your favorite workouts when you only have a band and no gym?
Oh, shoot. Tough. Well, a couple things. See if we get some bands here, which one get a hard one. All right, so if you have a pull-up bar, you can do assisted pulls. If you don't, we can do a couple things here, depending on what you're doing, right? The good thing about bands, which is dope, is that we have resistance the entire way. So obviously here, when we're pulling in, it's hard. And then even when we're out, there's tension still pulling us in that stretch. So we want tension in the lengthen contraction, and we want tension in the short contractions. So love doing these for sure. If you have bands as well too, we can do rear delts like this. If you want to do more isolated, take the small band from here, when you cross from this way and pulling out for more tension, or even down this way for your delts. Same as bicep curls. If you don't have anything to hook underneath, under here, I'm going to do bicep curls. Oh, look at that, my bleedy hand is, right? You can curls from here. One arm for ladder raises. Am I supposed to get my favorite or all of them? Because I can just go all day with this. But those are good ones. You could also do somewhat of deadlifts from here if you want, going all the way down. If you get some more tension that way, you can also squat as well too. I haven't done this in a long time, but.
Ow, my ear.
Yeah, if you were actually hard enough, but my hair is in the way. Never had this problem before.
Oh,
Never had this problem, but now we do. I keep forgetting I have long hair.
There you go.
There. So we can squat from here as well too, and wide, and squatting down.
Calves. That's all you're missing.
Calves as well too. Push-ups from the back. Again, like you're only gonna get really the stretch at the contraction at the top, but this is gross. We're gonna move those.
Yeah.
But we can do push-ups. And I would say do it in a deficit as well too, but so we can actually make this more effective. So if you can get yourself in a deficit, maybe you have some yoga blocks at home to help you go down, or just like, some books maybe to elevate your hands a bit to get us some more stretch at the bottom. Yeah, it's a bunch. But again, like they'll work for a good period of time, and then eventually you're gonna need to actually add some weight because your body will get used to the resistance. But then sometimes also resistance is gonna come only in that one area. Especially when you're pushing, it's not gonna benefit you as much in the stretch, and that's where we want the most, so yeah.
Your two must shoulder exercises for the most gains.
Must shoulder exercises? For me, I'm like if I could choose most of the time, anything like Smith machine press and then reverse flies. You can do them. For reverse flies, to me, my favorite way doing them is I like doing basically from here and coming down, and then having a little bit of a stretch this way. So instead of kind of being here and pulling out, I'm going to kind of go over this way. I'm going to turn myself into, so I'm stretching this right away, and I'm going to pull this guy here and down and stretch, then over and stretching it and pulling. So this, if I could do only 2 exercises, and I've done a bunch of videos that like only 2 exercises, but for this, I'm doing these one at a time, and then I'm going to do a very high incline Smith machine shoulder press, and that's going to help the lateral head of my delts and the anterior. That's why I'm not doing lateral and front stuff.
Nutrition question. I ran an extreme deficit for a long time that led my body to go into starvation mode. Now I'm doing a more reasonable deficit. How long until my body stops starvation mode?
So like starvation mode is like, I get it. I wouldn't say it's a thing. It's just like, it's a good way to kind of, I would say, articulate what's going on in your body. It's slowing its metabolism down because it needs to preserve more energy. The only way to kind of get it back up is by increasing that. So ways you can do that is by, look at your cardio. If you're not doing that much cardio, add some cardio, because your body's always going to still want to put things back to baseline. So if you want your body's metabolism to speed up a little bit more, start doing more activity like running, jogging, cardio stuff, and you'll see your metabolism start to go up, and you'll have to feed your metabolism, right? You have to feed it more because you're doing more exercise in that manner. So those are ways to increase metabolism to get your body back up to normal. That's basically what I have to do with a lot of athletes who are clients of mine who come in and they've done the same thing. We got to go back up. We got to feed ourselves a little more, but then do more output.
Just back to the band, he said, thank you, because as a truck driver that carries his band, I'm looking to diversify my routine.
Yeah, good for you, man. Hell yeah. Awesome.
Lower abs, I cannot do even 1 rep of level 1 regression described in your videos. Any ideas of what else I can try?
Of lower abs, which one did you try? Because I'll like lower abs again. He's probably talking about like anything lifting the lower body, right? So, and none of them.
I guess.
All right. Well, I got some. I mean, hey, everyone to each his own. If you can, and this is something I've done with some of my older clients, right? Right. You can either hold something to give yourself more leverage, right? Or from here, literally, put your hand on your butt, pull your knees in, and just slightly up a bit. We don't want you coming here. Most people do when they do like this, and this part doesn't come up. So we're just kind of, work our hip flexors. Same with like pulling your knees in. We want this to do that, right? So you can do these just from here and just pull in and out and out. And when I'm breathing out with this contraction, right? Start there, and then eventually maybe getting to here, right? So try that to start. Cool.
Getting stronger, but not seeing the muscle gains I want. What should I do?
So getting stronger and seeing muscle size is very, there's 2 things you have to do. You can get stronger and not see muscle size. Look at most powerlifters who are stuck in a certain class, a weight class, who are, 180 pound, weight class is lifting, 400 pounds, 500 pounds. The training stimulus they're doing is increasing their strength, but not their size, because one, train for strength, lower rep range, higher weight isn't going to increase the muscle size volume. So look to doing more higher volume work, longer duration of sets, stretching the muscle and whatnot, and then look into the other factors of your life. Are you eating enough calories? Are you eating enough protein? Are you resting enough? Are you drinking enough water? All those things have to be done consistently, and then look at how long you've been doing it as well too. So be patient. You gotta understand, you might not see that big change, but there's small little changes that are happening until, before a pound of muscle, there's gonna be grams of muscle that are gonna go on your body, right?
I started a bulk and gained about 17 pounds in 3 weeks. I don't really look fat or bloated. I'm probably about 15-20% body fat, so I don't know if I should have started one anyway, but is that normal?
What? You gained 15 pounds in what?
3 weeks.
15 pounds in 3 weeks is 5 pounds a week. That would be like if you're at maintenance. Let's take 5. That's a lot. What?
Move your hair, it's scratchy.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Let me do this. So is it possible? Yes, it's possible. But you might have an extremely fast metabolism. You probably are tall. How tall are you? I would only assume, because I can't see everybody when we're talking. So if you're a taller person, you're maybe 6+, and you can definitely see the difference of that for sure. Especially if you're just at your start of your journey as well. So
the question is it normal?
Is it normal? No, there's outliers, right? So I would say that's not normal to put on 15 pounds and not see any changes in terms of fat. So yeah, just don't increase anymore. Just keep on training hard and see what happens with that.
Hi, I dropped from 100 kg to 78 kg, full body workouts 3 times a week, and after 1 year, my pecs are negligible. I'm doing chest press machine and pec fly machine to no avail. What am I doing wrong? So basically he's not seeing the development. What is he doing wrong?
Okay, so you're only training 3 times a week?
He was doing full body workouts 3 times a week for a year.
So full body workouts, you can grow muscle, but again, full body workouts are a really good convenient split so you can get in your entire body. The only issue is that there's depending on what you're trying to prioritize or build, you don't really give it as much. You can probably train each muscle group 3 times a week. If you're doing that, maybe, but again, it's how frequent you're training that muscle group over time. And you also went from 100 kilos to 78 kilos. So that's a big ass drop. So in that drop, you could have lost a good amount of muscle as well too. So I would say just kind of like look back at your program, look at your nutrition, make sure you're fueling yourself. A lot of times when you don't have, if you're not seeing results or not seeing muscle being, grown or being made, a couple of things, genetics could have a massive part of that.
He's also 44 years old and a beginner.
Yeah.
You just mentioned that.
Okay, yeah. So like you're at the beginning of your, you're beginning of your journey. You've probably lost a lot of weight, and great job doing that. That means you actually have the ability to do that. You have the self-motivation, intrinsic motivation to do so. But again, like that's a lot of weight to just drop. So just making sure that again, a lot of times when people don't see the muscle gain that they want, it's either because they're not feeling themselves enough, or they're making these these intense drops in weight and losing muscle at the same time. So yeah.
Sorry. I have been starting my week with shoulders and arms, rest today, legs, back, by chest, delts, and tries. I don't know if that's good. What's your opinion?
So programming for yourself, and watch the video about programming, a couple things. You want to basically program based on your body's needs, or I would say your personal needs for what you believe would be lacking muscle group. So if your shoulders are a lagging body part and your chest isn't, it makes sense to put your priority movements at the beginning of the week and then tapering off the muscle groups that are already developed or don't have that much of an issue growing. So it all depends on what you believe is a weakness that needs to be brought up, and then obviously availability as well too.
What's your favorite kettlebell exercise with only light weights, like 6 kg, 10 kg?
My favorite kettlebell light weights?
Favorite kettlebell exercises with lighter weights?
With lighter weight, I don't. So for me, like it's a hard thing to say with lighter weight because you want to always have a weight for kettlebells that allows you to still use your body. Like if you're doing kettlebell swings, like there's like almost like a weight that's way too light for me to actually feel the bell and the swing and be able to swing the hips with it. But like, and the same thing of like if I did, Turkish get-ups, I would want something that's gonna weigh me down a little bit more. If you're gonna use something very light like that, I would say, lateral raises if you're doing using the kettlebell. You could probably still do like some kind of a bicep curl, but yeah, for me it would be more so, and tricep extensions like I did one with Jimmy House where we did them on the bench, and like so like I would say using the kettlebell that kind of weight for more of resistance training and not necessarily for that kind of metabolic conditioning would make sense. But I need a little bit of heavier weight to do some exercise that I like doing the most: kettlebell swings, goblet squats, one arm swings, snatches. Yeah.
What gym math do you use to calculate your maintenance calories?
What gym math do I use? Mm-hmm. Cool. So there's a little cheat I have. Basically, there's the 10, 13, 15 rule. This is like a cheat that most dietitians use for college or university and whatnot. Basically, when you're dieting, don't go less than 10 times your body weight in calories. That's an extreme deficit. Another very extreme, another deficit is 13 times your body weight in calories, and then 15 times your body weight in calories would be maintenance. Now give it a try, see what your body weight is in calories, times your body weight times 50, and then go to like some, regular, calorie calculator online and just put in, BMR and see what it says. And most of the time it comes up very close. So that's my cheat code for maintenance calories.
Hello, good morning. What would you recommend for bulking up arms?
For bulking up arms? Mm-hmm. Making sure we eat enough calories to do so, and resting, protein, and so forth. And then like technique, right? Longer sets, making sure we get a nice stretch in the bicep, fully contracting and actually flexing through. So don't just don't, again, use weight just to have the muscle get engaged. Engage the muscle and then add weight. So while like me doing this, I'm flexing my arm up and I'm flexing my arm down and stretching. I want to do that while adding a load to it. And then again, like finding exercise that's going to give you the best stimulus that you enjoy the most. And I find that those things kind of help you grow that much better.
Is eating low food make your muscles smaller?
Eating what?
Low food, like not enough.
Yes, it's not necessarily that it makes your muscles smaller. It just doesn't give your muscles the ability to grow, right? Like protein, you need protein for your body, for all things your body needs protein for. Protein isn't just for muscles; it's for all things that amino acids are divvied out to your body's needs. Skin, hair, nails, whatever, lining of your intestines, all those things, and then muscle plus it needs fuel for those things that happen, like carbs, glucose, whatever, and then like fat. So mostly carbs. So making sure you're doing those things. I hope I answered that question.
Don't forget to plug the school community and our exclusive Q&As that we do.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Who's that? Who is that?
DJ.
Yeah, what up, DJ? Yeah, man. Hey guys, join the school community. It's dope. It's actually, what's funny? My brother was my brother works for we work together, and he's like, you don't promote the school community as much as you do, and I'm like, he's like, as long as you're trying. I'm like, I will, but I want it to be like a little more organic. I want to actually have people in the group. That's like, I want you to be like, guys, come to the group, it's amazing. Come there as like one person. You're like, what the heck? So the group is growing. We're at 20 plus people for the past month that it's been really out there, and it's been dope. So if you want to get these exclusive conversations where I can actually see you see me, join the school community, $25 a month, and all the assets that I create.
What's the best way to drop weight and not lose muscle at the same time?
The best way to drop weight and not lose muscle, make sure, so that whole 12, the 10, 13, 15 rule, making sure, number one, you keep your protein and I would say fats at the top, and then decreasing your calories in terms of with your carbs, and that will allow you to stay more satiated, give your body enough fuel, or I would say sugars, glucose to actually build the muscle, and then make sure you have enough protein. So when you're in that deficit, you're giving. Basically, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we give our body just enough fuel to take care of its body's overall priorities, its needs, and then enough for it to preserve muscle while you're in a deficit. The problem is that we go way too low, and then we get muscle wasting and whatnot.
What's your opinion on volume, like sets and reps per body part for hypertrophy and pure muscle gain? I'm not training to be a power lifter, so I don't care as much about strength as I do about size.
Great. You should always program some kind of a strength phase in there, because strength is still necessary, and it doesn't mean you have to do powerlifting type of heavy strength mesos. So the grand scheme of things, like if you want to say what is the best rep range, 6 to 12 reps with a eccentric of 2 to 4 seconds, a lengthened contraction of about 1 to 2 seconds, and a concentric or positive contraction of about 1 to 2 seconds, and then a shortened contraction at the top about 1 second. So your set should be, or your rep should be around 2 to 8 seconds max, to the tune of 6 to 12 reps, and resting 2 minutes. And there's your sweet spot. And then obviously making sure you're using a load that allows you to do that. So I would say around 75% of your 1 rep max would do that. 45.
Does losing weight always result in loss of strength gains in the gym, and should I be lifting a bit lighter while shredding?
It's good. So yes and no. So you are going to see a little bit of strength dip, and it shouldn't be a lot, right? I have athletes who are a week out from the nationals right now, and their body fat, I would say Taylor's around 6%, and his weight and his strength hasn't dipped that much. But you will expect a little bit of strength decrease, because when you're stronger and you have more weight, mass pushes mass. But as well as when you're losing calories or dropping in calories, you're actually losing energy for that output as well too. So carbs might not be as high, so glycogen stores won't be as full. But you should always you should be within at least 20% of your, no less than 20% of your strength drop. What was the other part of that question?
Should I be lifting lighter while shredding?
So yeah, and then while you're shredding, when you're getting lower, I would say gauging the load based on your energy and obviously conditioning. You don't want to go in there and try and push the heavier end of your I would say hypertrophy while you're getting low, because your body's, I would say, in a environment where injury is pretty high. So yes, for sure, gauge it, and then as you get lower in terms of like load, increase duration, right? So weights getting lower, reps getting longer, or sets are getting longer.
Have you used something like a smartwatch for body analysis for skeletal muscle, water weight, and body fat composition? Is it trustable?
No, not all the way. So I do have an Apple Watch. I only use the heart rate part of it. So some of the things are good. Like it's not far off from accurate, but when it comes to it predicting your calories burned during exercise, it's very off. There's no way I've burned the calories it says I did in certain exercises, but I like having it for, gauging my heart rate. That thing is very accurate. And that's really all I use. I don't use anything else on the watch to, my steps I have in that, those are really good. But when it comes to like, skeletal muscle mass and all that stuff, these aren't that reliable for that.
Use a DEXA scan thing.
Yeah.
I'm doing all of my exercises 12 to 15 reps. If it's for bulk or not, do you think this is correct rep range?
I gave it like that earlier. I was talking about like, that sweet spot of 6 to 12 reps. You look at duration in the whole grand scheme of things. So I took like the max rep time. So like your rep took 8 seconds. 8 times 12 would be a long ass set. 8 times 6 would be a long ass set. So between 48 seconds to, I don't know what 8 times 80 is, like 90 something. Whatever.
You're asking the wrong person.
Who cares? Either way. So you look at like the 6 to 12 reps, me taking the highest rep length, you're looking at a long set. So if you're 12 to 15 reps, translates to a, rep or a set time of like 30 seconds to a minute, that's really good. If your, if your 12 to 15 reps is 12 to 15 seconds, it's a very fast rep range. And again, with that sweet spot of tempo for each rep would be between 2 to 8 seconds. So as long as you're 12 to 15 seconds, it's to the tune of 2 to 8 seconds per rep, that's fine.
I'm 150 pounds and just trying to gain decent muscle but not look huge, and 165 for a goal but look decent. Just shy of 6 foot, so skinny. Could I do bodyweight exercises without going to a gym?
Bodyweight exercises are great when you're a beginner because there is a form of resistance that's there. The only problem is that your body will adapt very, very quickly, and then you will need to increase the loads using to build muscle. I'm not jiving on you at all, but it's funny when people say, I don't want to get huge. It's not that easy to get huge at all. So like, it's almost like you want to have in your head that you want to get huge because it'll make you kind of like really shoot for getting huge. But like the reality of getting huge is like, it takes time then, to get there. So don't go in with the mindset of like, I don't want to get too big and, kind of tiptoe around things. Like go in there full force. I'm trying to build as much muscle as I possibly can and do all those things I can do to get that, to achieve that, that's going to help you reach your goal. But again, like, yeah, you're gonna need to have some more resistance if you're a beginner. But if you're not a beginner, body weight is not gonna do it for you.
What other tricep workouts do you suggest besides push downs?
Tricep workouts?
Yeah.
Besides push downs? Oh man. Did I do my top 10? Tricep videos coming out in a couple days. But so tricep push downs, I'll go do a bunch of quick ones.
Other than, yes.
So other than these, so you're obviously doing these. So this way you can do them. You can use different handles, same idea. Another good exercise to do is, now I like doing, when I'm doing overhead, I sometimes like using this instead. But overhead is really good to do because we're gonna hit the long head of the tricep and we get a nice stretch from here. And pushing, I like using the straight bar, the V bar like this. Or like mostly anything that's fixed. The rope for me sometimes doesn't really work well for me. Maybe something else is totally fine, but overhead, basically a nice stretch. We get a massive, nasty stretch in our tricep. We're literally from here all the way through and here. So these are good to do to add to doing, this as well too. You can even do seated or even like this with your back on and tight this way. And doing pulls like this. I like doing one arm unilateral stuff as well. And basically here, and I kind of like tucking myself under here, like scoop my chest, bicep under my chest to get a stretch from here, and then pulling down and then getting a gnarly stretch in this position. This is actually one of my favorite ones to do. Single arm. And then, what else? Did you see the cables or like anything?
No, anything.
Anything?
JM or...
Push-ups. Deficit push-ups, if you have blocks, are good for triceps and chest. But we're looking more triceps. You want to be like so. So we're going to be a little more, the elbows are going to go back, right? Like so, like this. It's a really good one to do for triceps. Dips. I can go on for days. Close grip bench press. Yeah.
What do you think about working out twice in the same day? I do morning with a gym partner and evening with my wife. 5 days per week, push-pull legs. Actually got noticeable gains after starting 2 a day.
As long as you're fueling yourself, because there's, when you're, now I don't know if you're doing two resistance times.
I think so.
Or am I assuming like one's resistance and one's maybe cardio of some sort?
Well, it says one with a gym partner and then one with his wife. So I'm assuming 2 resistance.
I mean, he could be doing, cardio with his wife.
True.
Right? Either way, let's just say you're both doing resistance training. I would make sure that if you're training the same muscle group the same day, probably not the best idea. So if you're doing say chest and then your triceps later or something like that, I'd make sure you're not overdoing or doing repetitive movements, but make sure you're fueling yourself enough, right? Because you're gonna have 2 different days, 2 different times a day, they're gonna have 2 needs in terms of fuel. So as long as we're fueling ourselves, yes, it's good.
Do you think Arnold has been a net positive or a net negative for men's body image? So many dudes are turning to juice just to try and hit that body.
So yeah, that's a good question. So I think it's how we perceive the person. It's on us, really, because.
Oh, we're good. We're good.
Here, turn this stupid thing on. But yeah, so what Arnold preaches, I think is very good in terms of just being healthy, being in the gym, doing your cardio, that kind of stuff. I think is good. I think that I think social media is a net negative on body image, 100%. I think the majority of our fitness industry and how it's portrayed is a massive net negative. If you look at training or health and wellness as a whole, it don't look that healthy and well at all. It doesn't. And it's really, there's a very small group of individuals who are doing their best to keep, health and wellness exactly what it is. But unfortunately, it's kind of overflowed with a bunch of look at me, fad diets, lies, I would say promotion of doing steroids, because everyone, most kids probably think that if I do steroids, I'm gonna get a sponsorship. And so, yeah, I think it's on the person and how they actually are preaching what they believe in and their morals. I think that makes a difference. And I think, so I would say no with Arnold. I think everything else is a net negative, but yeah.
How much weight loss should you have before you adjust your caloric deficit, for example, from 3,000 to 2,500 calories?
Look at how your body's responding. So, for instance, for me, when it comes to my athletes that are competing, or mostly anybody, it's I'm going to change something. I'm going to make some type of a change when we hit a plateau. So if they're eating X amount of calories and doing X amount of cardio and whatnot, and the calories that's being consumed is continuing to let that person drop, I'm not going to change anything until we hit a plateau, and then I'll change that. Now if we get to the place where we need to, just like my client this week, he has to hit 232 pounds on stage. He's already there right now, so we're trying to just preserve that and keep our calories there, and then we'll do a little bit of a 2-day depletion so we can make sure we make weight and then going back up. So you're only really going to change your calories, reducing them, if we're hitting a plateau. So there's no point of continuing to. And again, it's at least 2 weeks. Wait, don't think on week 3 I haven't dropped a pound, and you just start cutting out calories. Wait 2 weeks, your body might go through another little change. And if you're going to drop calories, drop it to the tune of like maybe like, you know, anything between to 100 to 250 calories. Don't just start cutting out like a half of a, 500 calories or 1,000 calories. Just, it's gonna be ugly in the end.
I work the night shift, hard work. Do you think the push-pull legs is still a better way to go? I only have 50 minutes to train, or should I stick to a bro split because it's easier for me?
Stick to the split that you can, that works best for your schedule. That's what splits are for. Splits are gonna be what is your goal in terms of like muscle growth, look, whatever it is, and then schedule, right? There's no point in doing a push-pull legs if you don't have the time to actually do it. If a bro split allows you that much more time, great, do that.
Hey, I went from 315 pounds to 180 over the course of 2 years, and then I main gained to 245, 15% body fat, then had to cut down to 205 for my wedding, and then main gained again to 245 pounds over the course of 1.5 years. Just a comment.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good
I don't feel sore in my delts much. Could you demonstrate side delt raises with dumbbells and cables?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, cool. So why does 50 feel so heavy? So to get your best bang for your buck for dumbbells, and we'll do both at the same time. To get your best bang for your buck for dumbbells, when you hold the dumbbells, like hold them for like, let them naturally sit here, shoulders back away from ears like this, right? Now I'm gonna kind of semi-flex my arm to keep it, straight the entire time. I don't wanna have my arms bending or moving when I'm doing this. So they're gonna be slightly flexed, so they're basically stuck in that position. And then where my arm is actually angled is almost like right at the side of my body. It's not sitting in my pocket, it's almost like right at the side of my thigh. That will allow me a good landmark for me to pull up, to do a lateral raise, where it's a nice healthy angle. We don't have to be back like this. We wanna be more so like this. And then when I'm doing the raise, I don't want these dumbbells to be like, sometimes we have the dumbbells kind of doing this, kind of doing this, kind of this. They're doing something wonky. I want to make sure that dumbbell is straight like this, parallel to the floor, but also like my wrist, right, is staying in this nice position here. And from here, my delts are in a really good position. They're firing off a lot. Now we can go a little higher, just so we can get a little longer range of motion coming on the way down. And this is completely fine from here. This is what your raise should look like, right? I'm here and down, up, and then down, right? I don't want to do this. I don't want this stuff happening. We are pulling from the delt. The delt is pulling this part, this arm that's attached to this forearm and wrist, and this is the weight on the bottom. We're pulling from this coming up, so feel this pushing out all the way and up, and you'll feel that. When you're doing cables one at a time is really good to do. Again, creating the most amount of tension. And this is having the cable about this height. Because from here, and I can slightly move out a bit, so there's already a stretch. Again, same idea when it comes to my arm being in that fixed position. Right? I don't want to bend from here. I want to be strong from here. Everything's tight from this way, and then basically pushing out and up the entire way. I'm going to have tension on my delt the entire time on the way out and up, right? And again, we don't need an angle where we're coming this way. It can come right to the same place it was when I was doing dumbbells when I'm here. And there's probably your best way to do dumbbell lat raises. Straight arms, strong, don't have to lock them out, but just like this. So we're pulling up, we're here, then fists, wrists, and elbows are on the same plane. So wherever this shoulder goes, however high it can go, everything stays in the same level. Not like this, not like this, not like this, not like this.
Would my muscles still grow if I'm in 1,000 calorie deficit, but my protein levels are at my body weight?
No, so it's calories in total, right? So let's just say I don't know how much you weigh, but let's just say you weigh 180 pounds and you're eating 1,200 calories. It's not enough, right? You want the pound for pound muscle, a pound for pound protein to body weight, and then having enough calories to still keep you in a deficit, but fuel you enough to be able to sustain or build muscle. But if you're eating, you know, if you're just eating enough protein, it's not enough. It's, like I said before, if you want to build muscle or sustain muscle, these are the non-negotiables from priority. 100% has to happen. Number one, a training stimulus. Hard enough to elicit muscle growth. Next on the list is enough protein. You need to have enough protein. Third, you need to have enough calories. If you have enough protein but not enough calories, it doesn't matter. You have to have enough of those. Same way, if you have enough calories, not enough protein, right? You need both. And then it's, you know, sleep, recovery, and water. So those things need to happen consistently for you to be able to achieve building muscle or sustaining muscle.
Spinal cord injury, back fusion, no left quad, can't leg extension with single leg, no weight on machine, replace suggestions, squats and deadlift.
So we can't do squats and deadlifts?
I don't think so. It says no left quad, can't
No
leg
left quad.
extension, single leg lifts, no weight on machines. So I think he's looking for suggestions on how to work his quad without basically.
Squatting and deadlifting.
I think so.
So leg extensions, no, can't do?
Can't do.
Can you do any knee extension exercise like lunges, right? If you can do front foot elevated reverse lunge, split squat, goblet squat, single leg press, those are all things you can do. If you now
No lunges.
no lunges. Okay, so single leg press. Can you do that?
Maybe. Don't know.
Try single leg press. If you guys have some specific questions, book yourself a 1-hour video consult with myself. We go over all the things you're probably wanting to get answered thoroughly. Me and you guys, we chop it up.
Can I hit all the back muscles in 3 workouts in one session? If so, what workouts would I do?
Yes, for sure. All the back muscles. All right. So anything coming from a high pull or high row. High pull being, you know, something like a pull up or pull down would be a high pull. A row would be like slightly back and then getting scap retraction as well too. So like, you know, a high pull would be like, you know, a high row would be, you know, and most machines that have you pulling back this way and you're pinching your back, your shoulder blades, right? So here we're getting a lot of lats, still getting some rhomboids and stuff too. High pulls are gonna get same thing, lats, traps, rear delts, rhomboids. And then we wanna go to like some kind of a horizontal pull. We're gonna get same thing again, lats, if it's a seated row, or say we ran over here and did this. Anything where we're like, hey, look at this, we're doing these. So here we're doing, you know, rows, right? Lats, traps, rhomboids, a little bit of rear delts. If you want more rear delts, we just do more of a pronated grip, hands like this, and then pulling back like this. We'll get a lot more rear delts, traps, rhomboids. And then if you want to work your lower back as well as the rest of your back, anything where you're supporting your no chest support. So if you're in a bent over T-bar row, bent over dumbbell row, bent over barbell row, we're working lats, traps, rhomboids, and erectors.
How many sets is ideal for muscle gain?
Anything between 10 to 20 some odd sets in a day. Just worry about each day. 3 to 12 hard sets per muscle group. So if you're doing chest on Monday, you're doing 3 to 12 hard sets. If you're a beginner, I would say probably do about like, you know, the higher end of those hard sets. If you're an advanced, you could probably get away with doing a little less on the, you know, to the lower end of those 3 to 12 hard sets. But 3 to 12 hard sets in a day.
Do you have any links to the gym equipment you have?
Any links?
Yeah.
I don't, because they don't sponsor me, so I ain't giving them free. I'm just joking. For the most part, guys, those green handles, which are pretty dope, those are from Prime ROT-8. And then this is Inspire stuff. You're talking about just the equipment or the...
It just says equipment.
Yeah,
Ask
this
if
is...
you had any like links to equipment that
Inspire's dope. Bells of Steel. Just go to those. Hope you're typing those down when I'm saying them. Yeah.
What is a good alternative for front squat?
Goblet squats. Goblet squats or goblet squats. Hack squats. Only because like when you're in a front squat, it allows more of a straighter posture in terms of your torso. So you get a lot more quad. The quads are a little more engaged in that. still getting everything else, still getting a good amount of hip and knee flexion. But if we're looking at like replacing that posture and the entire exercise, doing it like a machine, like one of these kind of machines, if you have one, like this, these are really good to do. If you have one, it'll help out. Doing squats like this, or a hack squat machine will be beneficial as well too. Or even a belt squat and then doing it with like a same, I would say, width you do your front squats with.
Hello, Johnny. When people say to train the same muscle groups at least twice a week, does that mean to train the same muscles, such as triceps, twice a week?
Yes. And the entire, so the entire muscle. So, triceps twice, no, they can be 2 to 4 times a week, but either way, the entire tricep. So it's not like you train the short head one day and the long head another day. It's like the entire tricep twice a week, the entire bicep twice a week, the entire chest, shoulders, etc.
How to reduce chest fat for a man? Can't spot
So we have to, that's into the diet and to the cardio, right? Your 2 biggest advocates that are gonna help you lose fat is what goes in your mouth, controlling that, and the output of your exercise. And again, yes, you can train to help build the chest. Like I can train and have the best chest, workout that's gonna form my chest and have the best genetics to build my chest. Maybe my genetics say my chest can grow just by looking at weights. The only way I'm going to see my chest the way I wanna see it is if my body fat levels are low enough to see that. So, yeah.
Are sissy squats bad for my knees?
No, sissy squats are not bad. Sissy squats, any squat are bad for knees when people aren't working on the mobility. So if I was like, for instance, here you go. You should be able to literally get down like this. Like this is me, you should be able to do this of some sort and get up, right? And be healthy doing that. If you can't, it's because you're probably not working the full range of motion and your body's been, got acclimated to only going a certain range. So it's really important that you do exercise that lengthen, that will help increase mobility in your ankle, in your knees, to be able to get good amount of like flexion there. So when you do stuff like sissy squats, they're still healthy.
Cardio before or after a workout session?
Depends. If your goal is to lose fat, I would say get your cardio before. If in a perfect world you have the time and putting it in the right place, I would say doing your cardio after. If you can do it completely separately, I would say it doesn't really matter. You can do them, swap them around. But I would say if you're doing it in the same session, to do it after your cardio, after your training, but then having some kind of a protein and carb source that you can take after you train and then do your cardio, so you're not spending a lot of time basically with no nutrition after you train.
So as a beginner with 1 year experience, I should be pushing for more sets per muscle per week, currently doing about 12 to 14.
So I would do more. It's like 30 to 12 hard sets in a day. So if I times that twice a week, you're getting at least it should be like around 10 to 20, I think it's 24 hard sets a week. And that's if you train each muscle group 2 to 4 times in the fundamentals of hypertrophy. So you can 100% do that. I would increase your overall volume, but that's like as a beginner, you want to just slowly increase it. As a beginner, I wouldn't just say jump right into the highest amount of volume, because again, if you're not used to DOMs and whatnot, delayed onset of muscle soreness, I would make sure you kind of gradually get up there. But yeah, getting your body acclimated to training higher volume is going to benefit you overall. And then when you reach that level, you can probably back up a little bit.
What do you do for biceps?
What I do for biceps? I love doing preacher curl. The Atlantis, this is a piece I love the most, really. Love this machine. I love doing preacher curls. I find it's one of my favorite to do, just that's just on me. So anything like this, I do these, controlling the weight down, emphasizing a massive stretch, and then making sure, if you guys watch, my shoulders don't move. I'm stuck in this position. So when I'm doing my curl, the only thing that's getting any work is my biceps And I'm also flexing my bicep to actually pull the weight up, right? So I'm not just kind of pulling it with my hands, I'm flexing while I'm pulling up. And you can see when I flex, my tricep at the back is actually getting engaged as well too while I'm moving. Those, and then hammer curls, love doing hammer curls. If I have my choice, I like doing hammer curls from the cable with the rope, because it gives me a little more free motion. Plus I'm gonna get constant tension. If I don't have rope, I still like doing hammer curls with the dumbbells because I'll get more form in there.
If you don't have the preacher curl machine, you can use a bench.
100% easy, yeah. You like this, whoever said that, get a prize, you're awesome. Thank you.
I said that.
Oh. So you can do like this if you don't have a preacher curl machine or even like a bench. You can use your bench like this.
And Meadows row, is this good for the whole back workout?
Yeah, meadow rows are, you're in a position where you're kind of like basically creating leverage without chest support being here. Meadow rows are dope. Yeah,
Pull down,
100%.
shoulder lift, heel out, yeah.
It's like angles, guys. It's like basically like from here, here, and here. Boom, boom, boom. And you've hit everything.
How much time should I put between each meal, and what if I'm not hungry by that time?
So you're gonna, like, depending on how many meals you eat, I would say, like, you know, I would say, let's go back to my bodybuilding days, which was not that long ago. If I am eating 6 meals, I'm probably gonna eat anything between like 2 to 3 hours between each meal, and that'll kind of cover my entire day, right? So, but if I'm eating, again, like if I'm eating less or fewer meals, each meal is gonna be a lot higher in terms of calories. So expect my body to start getting hungrier in a longer, right? So if I'm eating smaller meals, I digest them quicker, I'll probably be hungrier faster than if I had my entire caloric intake divided up in 3 meals. So now if you're not hungry, you know, don't stuff yourself, wait until you're hungry and eat, but make sure if you're waiting for your hungry, make sure you actually have food to eat, because waiting until you're hungry to eat, then not having things prepared, that's when most of all the bad shit happens.
Is cable bicep curls with full range of motion a good exercise?
What?
Is cable bicep curls with full range of motion a good exercise?
Yes, 100%. Heck yeah. Someone questioned my man here. Someone's like, that's not a good exercise. Like, let me ask Johnny on Monday. And you're probably doing full range of motion, getting a sweet pump. And some guy's like, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. You should probably be doing some, like, you know, quarters like this is way better. And you're like, that's not right. And then you double check with me, so good for you.
Mm-hmm. If you could only have one machine other than cables, what would be your recommendation?
If I could only have one machine other than cables, if I could if I didn't have that, if I could have actually one, I would have a Smith machine, for sure.
What is the right way to carb up and dehydrate yourself a few weeks/days before a competition or photo shoot?
What? That is way too hard of a question for me to answer right now. What is the question?
What is the right way to carb up and dehydrate yourself a few weeks or days before a competition or photo shoot?
It's so if you're doing as you should have been kind of gradually getting yourself down body fat wise to a place where, you know, you're comfortable, where your conditioning is, you know, you're ready for a photo shoot. Before your photo shoot, your body takes maybe around like 2-ish days to really deplete glycogen stores. So understanding that if you're dieting already, glycogen is probably pretty low. So you can probably get away with doing like a day of depleting. Basically like eating the same thing you're eating before at whatever part you are in your diet and calorie wise, and just like chucking out your carbs, your high glycemic carbs, your pastas, your rices, your potatoes, getting rid of those for a full day. You're only eating meat, veggies, and fat. And then the next day, again, you can you're basically drinking no water, cutting carbs, and then the day that you have your photo shoot, introduce some carbs back in, and then slowly have a little bit of water, because you still need water. You're not cutting out water when you're doing, when you're trying to deplete and get ready for a show or photo shoot. You need water to help introduce carbs back into your body to help with glycogen storage. So I would say decreasing your water by a good margin during the day that you're depleting, and then, having it up, and then the day you're not competing, depleting, introducing the carbs, taking out a little bit of the water, and then introducing carbs so you can keep itself like tight and that. But there's so much more to it. Like there's so much more. It's I got a competitor competing this week, and it's a day-to-day thing. Like he sent me pictures and videos and weight for the last 3 weeks every single day. And I make adjustments depending on what his body's doing and how he looks. So, yeah.
Chest flies from high to low. Do I need to lean forward from the hip or should I be straight up?
Lean from the hip. And great, awesome, because I'm doing a coaching up with Sam Selleck. I've watched Sam Selleck train a little bit, and I think he's listening to some people, but he's doing a couple things that I know that a lot of people can do. So the video I'm doing on him isn't a bash my man Sam Selleck. It's what would I still keeping the same Sam Selleck fundamentals, high intensity training, very ballistic. But anyway, so if I stand like this, I'm working the lower pec right from here, but I do want to bend a little bit so I can get a better stretch at the top and pulling down. Being up high like this, and I know what you're talking about because most people will do this and they'll kind of do this here. I want to be slightly hinged back a bit like this and then pulling down from here. Now, if I go all the way over like this, well, I'm basically almost doing the same thing as if I was straight here and then going out like this, right? So I do want to, you don't have to be like this, because again, this is basically same as being, straight up and doing your regular cable flies from here. But to increase overall stretch in this position, I want to be slightly back like this, just a little bit of hinge, and then pulling down so I can get a stretch from here and pull. Remember that this is gonna help down here, but the entire pec is still working as well.
I'm trying to lose fat. Is working out fasted while in a caloric deficit a good idea?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I work out fasted as well. I train for the Master Olympia fasted. The importance is making sure that you're still fueling yourself after. So I wouldn't necessarily do a workout fasted and then intermittent fasting like that. I would make sure that you're fueling after your workout. So 100% good idea. Make sure you eat after.
I work out 5 times a week, but my job as an order builder is nonstop. I want to lose a little belly fat. Any nutrition advice for energy and fat loss?
So keeping fats fairly high, I would say more like 30% of your caloric intake should be from fats. Your protein, or 1 to 1 grams of protein per body weight. And then your carbs, you can kind of reduce carbs to help you still lose fat. Again, for every 1 gram of carbs is 2 to 3 grams of water that comes with it. So reducing carbs will allow for that water to go down a little bit too, so you'll be able to see a little more muscle, plus you'll be able to burn a little more fat with your carbs being a little bit lower, because it'll be easier to, I would say, to drain glycogen stores, to really dip into the fat burning energy system. And then, I know you're doing labor and you're doing a lot of work, which is good, but I would almost if you added a little bit of cardio steady state on top of what you're already doing, and not by a lot, you can do maybe 20, 30 minutes. That would actually make a massive difference in your overall fat loss from cardio.
Should I modify my diet to the weight I'm trying to reach?
Yes, as you're going down, yes. So I get what you're saying. So some people will say, for instance, if you weigh 250 pounds and your goal is to be 200 pounds, should I eat like someone who's 200 pounds? No, because it might be too low to start. But you want to gradually reduce your calories at each level you get there, right? So if you start off at 250 pounds, you're eating X amount of calories, and now you're down to, 220 pounds, you're probably down to 220 pounds because your calories have been reduced to allow you to get there. And if your goal is to get to 200, whatever you reduce your calories to, again, make that change to get to where you want to get to, right? But you can't just be I want to be 250 pounds, I'm going to eat what a 150 pound person eats. It will be way too less.
What's better for hypertrophy? Cable lat raises behind the back or leaning to the side?
cable back, lateral raises?
Yeah. Or
The-
leaning, I don't know.
So I would assume he's meaning like,
Just behind the back,
I would assume he's meaning something like this. So doing these,
or like leaning to the
or doing, or doing this.
Yeah, that sounds
So
right.
this is better. This is gonna be better because I'm gonna get a better stretch, right? I can get, now again, like raise it up a bit here and get a stretch. I'm getting a massive stretch from here and then all the way straight through. If I'm doing it behind my back, it's not like I'm kind of, the stretch is still good, but it's not as, I would say, optimal as me being in the front. Do they both work? Yeah, 100%. But again, this is that much easier to do and to tap into than going behind your back. In there.
Do you agree that the more intense your workouts are, that you need to lower the weekly volume?
Yes. I would say like, so intensity is like a two-part answer, I would say. Intensity would be the individual going into the gym, training at their highest availability of energy, right? And then intensity being the actual tools you're using to make the set harder. So if you're doing a bunch of supersets, drop sets, rest pause, yeah, you don't have to do as much volume, right? For sure.
Do you change your calories on workout days versus rest days?
I don't, because your body in a rested state still needs the calories to heal, to recover. So in some circumstances I do, depending on the person, the goals and whatnot, but for everything, like if you're trying to, like recover still, on a rest day, you still want to make sure your body is getting the calories it needs to recover.
That's it. We're done. It's over now.
That's it?
That's it.
Man, that was fun. One more.
When doing a bro split, would free weight be more effective than machine, since I wouldn't be touching the muscles twice a week to do both?
It's so yes and no. No, like it honestly, whatever, as long as whatever tool you're using allows you to progressive overload properly, get a great stretch, in that length and contraction. Yeah, for sure. Dumbbells can do the same as, machines. If you're training by yourself, I would say sometimes machines helps. There's a better strength carryover when you're doing dumbbells. But again, like you can create tension as great as, dumbbells and machines. So it's kind of like more so, I would say, whatever you tap into that, you can control the most. If you feel better doing dumbbells, do dumbbells. If you feel better doing machines, do machines. But I wouldn't opt out from one or the other because one might be better than, I would say, go with how you feel. What's the question? What are you looking at?
Nothing.
What? Oh.
That's it.
All right, guys, appreciate you guys. Listen, if you, again, book yourself a consult with myself. If you want to get any more questions that you haven't been able to ask me here, jump in the consult, 1 hour with myself. If you want to get all the assets that I've already created, then I'm creating even more. My school community is $25 a month. We do weekly talks like this as well too, as well as my push-pull legs training ebook, 3 for 5 day splits. I'm doing a bunch of hypertrophy ebooks that are coming out right now, and you get them for free, and all the great communication that we get on a week-to-week, day-to-day basis. So sign up for that as well too. Anyway, guys, appreciate you all. Thank you for coming out. And until next time, iron sharpens iron, progressive overload your life. In the meantime, thank you, and keep dream chasing. Peace.